not going on in special session. As you probably saw, Senator Fasano and I sent a letter last week to the governor and the legislative leaders saying we understand that the governor is holding the bond bill hostage with the tolls vote, and we understand that from his perspective. We don't agree with it because we think that towns and cities are being punished for other political agendas, and that's not fair. You want to fight over transportation, you want to fight over tolls, that's a legitimate fight, and that's a fight we should all have, because that's a real serious issue in the state of Connecticut. But the bond bill is important because it is affecting cities and towns and their snow plowing and their road repair. So we requested that we take just the town aid road money, which is $30 million of GO bonds and $30 million of special transportation bonds that we normally do every year, and call that today. We haven't heard back in regards to any of that, so we assume that's not happening. We thought that was very important to do today, and we asked that the bond commission be moved forward just one day to help that happen. We just think that the state of Connecticut is suffering in a lot of ways, and we don't agree on everything. That's absolutely true. But the things we can't agree on is we have to keep our word in regards to what we've promised towns and cities.
So just adding to that, I echo the concerns of Representative Klarides, but to add to that, so you all know, we cannot give the towns their money until it's been approved in a bonding package. It is the bonding package that has to get done first here in the legislature, and that's what's being held up. Now, if it's being held up for the transportation bill, they could very easily pass the Republican bill dealing with no tolls, get going on that, do their tar bill, and if they want their tar bonding, then if they want to change it because they want to add tolls, then go ahead and change that later. But let's get going. Let's not stop transportation, stop towns for some political power play that they're trying to make. We should just get it done, get our business going, and move forward.
You talked about snow plowing, but CCM says no town is looking hard. It's not going to skip snowplow. It's a question of when they can pay their bills. So, do you have information in the country?
I mean, it is a question about that, but you've heard us say this time and time again. When the state of Connecticut doesn't get their budget done until June, and towns and cities are doing theirs in April and May, and they rely in doing their budgets on the money that we're giving them. And so now it's already December, and that money was worked in. This is the second payment. It's not going to be paid. That's coming up. And you're right, they're not going to not plow their roads because they have a responsibility to their citizens of their town. But they're likely going to use money that they have not allocated for that and take money out of their reserve fund, and that's not fair. I mean, we talk about budgeting and doing it in a responsible way. We need to do it more like towns and cities do, but yet again, we're holding them hostage because we can't get our work done.
Well, why don't you bring it up as an amendment to one of these bills today if it's so important? It's a standalone amendment.
I mean, you probably could. The only one you could possibly do it on that's germane, maybe, is the hospital settlement deal. That might be germane, but it's a long shot that it's germane because it's a bonding bill. So I'm not sure it's germane, so you do have a germane issue. But, there are going to be other cities. Bigger cities probably can deal with this one a lot easier than smaller towns that run on shoestrings. So they're going to have to move it from one account to the other, leaving that account deficient for now. I don't know what that means, but to a town, that small town with a small budget, it's going to have an impact. Now, they're going to still do the roads because it's safe, but sooner or later, it's going to hurt some program or some program that they finance they no longer have the money for.
Why couldn't it be germane on the restaurant bill? Because every town has a restaurant.
But here's the problem.
It's a bonding issue.
It's a bonding issue. But here's the problem, is that we've been talking about this for a month or two. We wrote the letter to our colleagues last week, and we didn't really hear back in a positive way. The problem is, if we bring that amendment up, one of two things will happen. They'll say it's not germane, and they will likely do that because there is a real question of germaneness. But secondly, if this is not a bipartisan decision, they will never allow it to be called and voted on. Right? And that's where the problem is here, because that would be a political decision and a political move. We don't care if it's Republican or Democrat. The fight should be the fights for things that are important. But things like this, which I think everybody agrees, bonding should be going to towns that have been promised. It's being held up for political reasons. That's not fair. That's not how government should work.
To acknowledge how many town workers in any town anywhere have been either denied overtime or have not been paid and were told, hey, we'll pay you in Hartford.
but let's be clear, we're still in December. We've had 2 storms that I can remember, but January and February, particularly the first week of February, is traditionally one of the snowiest time periods in the state of Connecticut. So maybe now they're covering a little bit here, covering a little bit there. But when you hit January and February, that's when you're going to have major problems. It'll be midwinter. And so if we have some big nor'easters, that's going to be a significant issue for these smaller towns. So maybe they're covering it now, but doesn't mean that can continue. And let's be clear, we're not coming back to this building any earlier to the last week of January at the earliest. We all know this building doesn't gear up to a week or 2 after the first. It's just the way the building operates.
Did you see all the protesters downstairs that say they support the tolls and they say that they want them on everybody, not just the trucks? What do you make of that? Do you feel that there is this group of people out there that haven't been heard that say they do want tolls?
It's a very, very small group I saw downstairs, and it's a very, very small group that I ever heard saying, please, please tax me. So, you know, you're always going to have a small group for something.
Is there any significant opposition in either of your caucuses to the hospital settlement or the restaurant credit bill?
There is not in my caucus. Obviously, I can speak for his caucus. What's going on right now is there's a little bit of tweaking that's going on with the restaurant bill. There's one part of it that is a very good change. It's a change that we have been talking about and advocating for the past few months. The second part of it is a little up in the air now, and that's what we're waiting to hear about.
Can you go over exactly what's the importance of the restaurant? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So the hospital is not going to be a problem in my caucus at all. I don't know the changes that have been made. I don't know the changes that have been made on the restaurant deal, so I can't speak to that. I haven't seen any language whatsoever.
So what is the importance of the restaurant bill?
The importance of the restaurant bill is that there was a governor's veto of a bill that we did during regular session this year, and all 4 caucuses and the governor have been negotiating for several months, and they came to an agreement on how workers that get a tip credit are paid. So waitresses, bartenders, and so on.
One more time, please.
Right. Just in case they didn't hear you in North Haven. So there was a question as to how that should go. The Department of Labor had been advising businesses in writing and by oral word and in their direction book that they should follow that 80-20 rule. And they did, and now there's about 22 lawsuits going on in the state of Connecticut. If people that live in this state cannot trust the agencies and commissions that they are directed to go to, and then they follow those rules, and the result is they get sued for tens of millions of dollars, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars, then we have failed as a basic core function of government. So this bill fixes that to a certain extent, to a large extent, and it is a bill that all stakeholders can agree to.
Speaking of government on a large extent, would you comment, both of you, on the impeachment proceedings in Washington today?
So I would say, look, it's a sad day for government on a number of regards. But you know, Washington hasn't governed this country in a long time, and I think they should kind of get back to work. People rely upon them to do their main function, which is govern this country, and I don't think they've done it.
And I said from the beginning, you know, we do state government, they do federal government. I don't want them sticking their nose into what we're doing because they certainly don't know the details that we know. We don't know their details. I just hope that the proceeding went through in a responsible way. But the longer this goes on, the longer government doesn't work.
Do either of you believe the president should be impeached?
Look, I don't know if he should be impeached. I just think that it's been a circus down there, and it's embarrassment that government isn't doing their job, which is to govern.
Same thing. I mean, we are not privy to every document that they have, just like they're not to ours. And if they comment about what we're doing, they would be doing it in a vacuum in an irresponsible way. So I don't know the answer to that, but I hope they wrap it up soon, one way or the other, and move on with this country's work.
All right, thank you all.
Great, thank you. I'm sorry, my nose is so itchy.